In the first chapter of Joan Morgan's book, When Chicken Heads Came to Roost, or Come to Roost, she begins the book with a short overview of how she was before she became aware and deeply engaged with her culture and femininity. She grew up watching in awe of those around you who were already or grew up partaking in spoken word. The lyrical flows that she listened to were so powerful that she said that she witnessed girls turn into black Moseses capable of parting seas of otherwise idle Negroes. And I wrote a poem explaining that what she meant by parting seas of otherwise ideal Negroes. So the poem goes, meaning the words they wrote, the lyrics they spoke, were able to shake a sleeping man's boat, to cause unrest in those who trot mindlessly, filling up the Negro Sea, vocalizing what they want and how things should be, for them to have all three life, happiness, and liberty, since we are all created equally. So, this freedom she saw others partake in only fueled her impatience of wanting to become one of them. Later in the chapter, she sheds some light on her mother, explaining how, like many other black women, she fought through the process of discovering and embracing oneself as a colored woman. She details the struggles she went through and how she overcame them, and how those struggles relate to her as well. Fast forward to chapter 2, where it's no longer an overview of what she was to become, but a description of how she became. She explains how, over the course of one night, she became a black feminist writer due to a conversation she had over the phone with her lover. During this conversation, they were talking about an incident she was writing about, of how a white woman was allegedly raped by brown people, or brown boys, and the racial implications that followed that. One point during the conversation, her lover brought up an interesting point, saying that instead of dwelling on those racial implications and the problems that follow them, we should consider the problems between men and women in our community. And this caused her to become a black feminist writer. So caused her to claim her femininity. Soon after delving into the realms of her sexuality, she started to realize the little details around her that followed, the differences in the walk and talk of those around her, whether it would boil down to who they were, what they were, or both. The second half of this chapter was a summary of the history between her and Mark Christian, who was a photographer who was exceptionally good at luring out the beauty in black women. She admired his artistry and his commitment to the expression of what it meant to be black. Finally, in chapter 3, Joan goes into detail explaining how black feminism and its culture clash with the white feminism and its culture. Other than culture, one key part that played a big role into it was age. She considers the generation that she's in as a continuation of past memories of the generation before them, and claims a notion that we should not dwell on the past, since doing so would be considered victimization. And one of the key examples of emergence of this new age is the idea around the use of the F word. The previous generation would have a bad taste in their mouth if they said it, while this new generation claims it and embraces it.